Hey, my friend, and welcome to Aligned to Rise, the podcast for ambitious women who are ready to rise above their symptoms, release old limitations, and fully rise into their true power and potential. I'm your host, Alyssa Chavez, functional nutritionist, performance coach, and former endo and infertility warrior who knows what it's like to feel held back by your body and your beliefs. I've taken a journey of true healing from the inside out so that I can show up feeling great in my body, confident and unstoppable. And now I'm here to help you do the same. Through a blend of functional nutrition and deep mindset work, this show will empower you to reclaim your vitality, trust your intuition, and live unapologetically in your purpose. If you're ready to align your body, mind, and spirit so you can rise to your highest potential, you're in the right place. Let's rise, my friend. This show was created for educational purposes only and should not be used as a replacement for medical advice or treatment. Hey, my friend, and welcome back to Aligned to Rise. So, on today's episode, we're going to talk all things pain, because I know that's a common thing that comes up for everybody because I hear it all the time from my clients and people I have conversations with out there. But what if the pain that you're feeling in your body, anywhere in your body, what if it's not just physical? We all tend to address the physical side of it. Maybe we go and get a massage or we go and see a doctor and see what might be causing the pain in your body. But especially if you're somebody who's just had ongoing chronic pain and you can't seem to get to the bottom of it, what if it's actually your body telling you something else? What if it's your body's way of asking you to feel something that you've been avoiding or something that you just haven't fully processed or taken care of yet in your life? So just to share a little quick example from my own life, I struggled with some upper back pain just right on the inside of my left shoulder blade for I was going to say months, but I feel like it was actually years. And I've done a lot of work on it. I've been to chiropractor, I've done body work, I've done stretching, I've done all the things, and it would get a little bit of relief for a short time, but it would never really go away until I addressed something that I never really expected would be connected to that. And I'll share more about that in a little bit, so stay tuned. So in today's episode, I'm going to be sharing what I've learned. So I've talked about this some. If you follow me on social media at aligned.to.rise, you may have seen some of my stories and things that I've been sharing. But I've spent the past several years or so taking a deep dive into functional nutrition and all the things connected with that. And now I'm spending a lot of time really diving into the mental, emotional component of health and how that can impact our physical bodies, amongst other things. So I wanted to start to share more of that on the podcast because it's been so incredibly life-changing for me, and I don't say that lightly. So I wanted to share today a little bit about how stuck emotions like anger and hurt and fear can really get trapped in your body and can manifest as symptoms like chronic pain. Of course, it can show up in many, many ways in your body, but chronic pain is certainly one of the common things that comes up. So, first of all, as we dive into this, I wanted to just give a quick little introduction on how chronic pain can actually have emotional roots. So basically, there's actually a lot of resources out there related to this. Our bodies can actually store unresolved emotions when they're not processed, and that includes traumas and different things like that. And pain can sometimes be your body's signal to actually listen, right? So our bodies, this is just an excellent reminder for all of us, our bodies aren't actually working against us when you're experiencing pain and different symptoms. They're really just trying to get our attention. So the way that I think of it is that symptoms are the body's way of giving us information. And my question to you is, what if we learned to truly listen instead of fighting the process, instead of trying to battle our bodies? What if we instead tuned in and really listened? Now, this can apply to really just about any symptom or disease in your body, but we're going to focus today on chronic pain or just pain in general because I know that it's something that affects so many of you. So, as you know, if you've listened to me any length of time, I really started my health and healing journey largely because of endometriosis. And of course, there's a lot of chronic pain associated with that. And once upon a time, that absolutely just ruled my life and was a daily part of living for me and was very stressful and frustrating and all the things. And now I don't have pain anymore. I very, very rarely experience any of that abdominal pain that used to be so severe that it would disrupt pretty much every aspect of my life. And then I had that other story that I started earlier in this episode a few minutes back about that upper back pain that I was experiencing, where it was just this chronic pain right up on the inside of my shoulder blade on the left side there, and nothing helped. I tried everything because it was one of those things that would just drive me crazy. I would be trying to go to sleep at night, and I would just chronically have this pain that would not let up, no matter what I did. And what ended up really working for me was doing some deep emotional work. And what that looked like for me in that case, I now that I look back, I can kind of put the puzzle pieces together, because what I realized was happening is that I was really holding on to some emotions. There was some stuff going on these last couple of years, especially in relation to this one personal relationship that I had going on that just really was going south. It really became a painful situation mentally and emotionally as well. At this point, that personal relationship is no longer in existence, but I was definitely still holding on to some of the pain and hurt and anger and frustration from all of that. And so the work that I did was all around basically releasing that, just the idea of cutting the cord between myself and this other individual and just releasing, clearing out that anger and fear and hurt that was going into that relationship. And releasing that actually allowed me to fully release that pain in my upper back, which was really powerful and honestly wasn't even something that I expected. I just wanted to be able to let go of that relationship and kind of cut the cord on that constant, replay of all the events that had happened in my mind. You all know what I'm talking about, where you have all these pretend conversations in your head and things you could have said, should have said, would like to say, whatever. And it just doesn't really serve us, right? It's just what ended up happening is this other individual was just living rent-free in my head, and it just wasn't a very healthy situation for me. And so I was able to really look at that and process that and let go of that. And now that pain that was there for probably 2 years is gone. It has not come back. This was probably a few months ago that I had really worked on that. And I don't have that pain anymore. And that was really powerful for me because honestly, it was one of those, I was like, well, I guess this is what people talk about. I'm in my 30s now, heading into late 30s, and I just have pain now that doesn't go away. Great. And now it's actually fully cleared, which is pretty incredible. And that happened at a retreat that I went to back in June. Multiple times I've been out to beautiful Utah where I've been doing trainings on all of this stuff, and just got back from another one in August and saw some really powerful experiences in others as well during that training, because of course, as we're learning these tools and learning what they're all about, how all of this works, we're also practicing with each other and really getting to see other people's transformations as well. So I have two beautiful examples that I saw right in front of my own eyes that I wanted to share with you as well. One was a woman in her 60s who had pain, kind of similarly, some upper back pain that she had had since she was about 4 or 5 years old up into her 60s, and just had chronic pain that just would never go away. And so she was our model for doing this particular exercise that helps to basically tune into your body and just listen to what it's trying to say, what kind of emotions are coming up. And through clearing all of that, she was able to take her pain when she started. It was about an 8. And by the time we finished the process, she was at a 0, completely gone. And she woke up the next day, had no pain. She woke up the next day, she had no pain. It was gone, which was incredible. We were all blown away, and I think especially her. That was really cool to see. And then a second example, there was also a man there who was in his late 50s and had some back pain. His was particularly centered around his SI joint, which is in the very lower back, where kind of the edge of the sacrum is, if you're familiar with anatomy. He had that pain since he was about 12 years old, so also since he was a young kid. And after doing some similar processing and just really digging in and exploring and clearing some of those negative emotions, he was able to release that pain for the first time since he was 12 years old. So this is some powerful stuff, and I'm not making up these stories. These aren't just random stories from the internet. These are actually human beings who I know and have had conversations with, and was able to witness their release from pain as well as my own, which is pretty dang powerful. So what was really happening there is that those were not physical release breakthroughs. That was all emotional releases. Basically, their bodies just felt safe enough to actually let go of that pain. And that's pretty dang incredible. So I just wanted to share a little bit. This is something that I've been exploring more and more, and I just find to be so interesting how accurate, I'll say, these connections can be on just where some of this pain in certain areas of your body, and this can include disease as well in certain areas of your body, how this can really be connected with what might be going on around you, what kinds of things you might be experiencing in your life, what kinds of traumas, what kinds of emotions might be coming up for you. So this is really related more than anything to German New Medicine, if you're familiar with that at all. But really the big picture is that we're just looking at what particular things might be contributing to particular areas of the body. So I'm going to mention a few of these that have related to myself and family members. This is certainly not an exhaustive list. And of course, this is what it may be linked to emotionally. This is just a matter of kind of building curiosity and new possibilities on where some of this stuff may be coming from. So for example, upper back pain, like what I had been experiencing, can be related to just feeling unsupported, or can even relate to feeling a quote-unquote stab in the back. And I totally laughed when I read that because that was so related to what my experience had been. I felt I was feeling very betrayed by a friend and just hurt and frustrated by somebody else's behavior. And so that definitely related to me, for me, to that stab in the back kind of vibe. Ovaries or testicles, for my male listeners here, can relate to profound loss, often of a child or somebody in your immediate families that you're very close to. I know for me, I started to experience a lot more ovarian pain after I had a miscarriage, which makes a whole lot of sense. In fact, I had been diagnosed with endometriosis prior to that, but it definitely worsened a whole lot after going through my fertility journey and experiencing miscarriage and all of that. There definitely was a sense of profound loss in relation to that. So interesting to, make that connection there. Knee pain, this isn't something that I experience personally, but I know others who do. Knee pain can relate to flexibility. Is there something in your life you maybe could be more flexible with, but you haven't been? And or an inability rather to move forward, right? Knees are very much related to forward motion. So either one of those things can be related to why knees are in pain. Lower back pain, which is a super common one, can be related to a central personality self-devaluation conflict. Are you struggling with who you are or really devaluing yourself and just the central core of your being? Could that be related to your lower back pain? Teeth can be related to a bite conflict, which could be something like an inability to take a bite. Has there been a time in your life where you haven't had enough food, weren't able to access as much food as you needed? Or has there been a situation where you've needed to quote unquote bite back, but haven't been able to? Maybe you were young and there was some sort of conflict where you needed to be able to fight back, but you weren't able. Maybe there's something that you needed to say, but weren't able to say. You can kind of see the correlations happening here. Now, I know, yes, this may sound a little bit more out there, a little bit more woo-woo, but just as you're listening to this, does any of this relate to you? Now, I'm not going to go through every body part today because we'd be here for many, many hours. But if you're interested in more resources in relation to this, just shoot me a message on Instagram. Come and find me at aligned.to.rise. And I am happy to have a conversation with you. I absolutely love talking about this stuff. And I'm happy to send you additional resources where you can learn more about this stuff, just for curiosity's sake and to see what connections you can make in your body. Now, just as a little reminder, pain is complex, it's multifaceted, but I have found for myself and so many others around me that when people really feel seen emotionally, they're listening to the emotions that their body are holding on to, they're taking the time to go back and maybe process some traumas that have happened in the past that you just maybe have been sweeping under the rug and ignoring. And it's so incredible how when you start to explore that stuff, your physical body can start to soften too. And it's pretty powerful stuff, my friend. So this is especially for you if you're somebody who has tried everything. Maybe you have physical pain, whether it's related to a specific diagnosis like endometriosis, or you just have maybe physical pain somewhere, joint pain or back pain, muscle pain, tendon pain, any sort of pain. And you've tried all the things. You've worked on your diet, you've taken supplements, you've done body work, maybe you've even tried pain medication and it just feels stuck, like it's not going anywhere and nothing you do is helping. Maybe there's something deeper. Maybe there's something else that your body has to tell you. And what if your body is just trying to communicate with you? What if your body's just trying to speak to you in the only language that it has? Because at the end of the day, your body can't just come up to you and have a conversation with you, right? Our bodies communicate via signs and signals, symptoms that come up in the body, pain. All these things are just your body trying to tell you something. So maybe, rather than getting angry and upset with your body and frustrated and trying all the things to just shut down your body, maybe instead start to really tune in and listen to your body and create space for your body to be able to heal. What if that is possible for you? Now, I want to just reinforce that everything that I'm talking about here today, this isn't about placing blame. This is super, super important. It's not about placing blame on others. It's not about blaming mom or dad or brother or sister or grandparents or anybody else in your life. It's not about blaming yourself for not dealing with things in the moment or standing up the way that you really wanted to. It's not about that at all. It's about moving from where you are right now, because that's the only place that we can really move from. It's about empowerment, knowing that there's something that you can do. Because this is a big thing that I really focus on, is the whole idea of cause versus effect. you can either choose to believe that you are just being affected by everything else around you and there's nothing you can do about it, and woe is me, big old pity party for the rest of your life. You can do that. Or you can choose to create the life that you want, the reality that you want to have. And I am here to share with you that it's all possible. I am somebody who's been through chronic pain and infertility and ups and downs and all the emotional things in life. And I've come out the other side feeling better and stronger than ever. And that, my friend, is what I want for you. That is why I record this podcast each and every week so that you can get closer to that yourself. It's really more than anything a matter of making a decision to take charge of your own life and your own future. So that's my invitation to you. So if this is really resonating with you, you're going, oh my gosh, I really would love to dig deeper into the emotional side of health. What can this mean for me? How can this help me with my unique situation? I would love to connect with you. If you're curious about what emotions might be connected to your pain, I would love to support you on that journey. So I actually do offer this type of work as part of my practice now. So I am still doing the functional nutrition work, but in addition to that, I am also offering this type of work where we're able to really bust through and just clear out some of the negative emotions and things that can really hold you back from true healing. And I'm finding that for so many people, it can be just a missing piece of the puzzle. I actually have more to share on my own journey as well, but I'm going to share that on a whole other episode coming your way very soon. There's so much to share, and I really want to be able to take the time to unpack all of that and share it with you. So just be sure to hit subscribe so that you don't miss a single episode. You know exactly what's coming next. But in the meantime, if you would like to look at how this emotional work may be the missing piece of your own journey, just head into the show notes. There is a link there where you can book a free 30-minute consultation with me. We can chat through your own unique journey. I can hear about what's been going on, and I'm happy to help you along the way. All right, my friend, thank you so much for joining me today. Thank you so much for listening. And if you are somebody who's experiencing chronic pain and hasn't found answers, I hope this has been helpful for you. If you have a friend or family member who has been experiencing pain and hasn't found any answers, definitely take a moment to pause and just share this episode with them, because I would love for this to get out to more and more people. All right, my friend, thank you so very much for joining me today. I hope you have the most wonderful rest of your day, and we'll talk soon. Thank you so much for tuning in to Aligned to Rise. If this episode spoke to you, take a moment to share it with a friend who needs this message too. And then don't forget to hit subscribe so you never miss an episode. I'll see you next time, my friend. Let's rise together.